I'm going to close down the company in 6 months' time, and probably it's a good time for you to find a new job. Hi, it's been a while since I recorded my last video. It has been a really busy period for us here at acreativealt. We are really blessed that we managed to thrive amidst this current pandemic. We have managed to transform the business model a little bit from someone who are relying a lot on events into full-fledged content productions company, whereby we actually produce video and advertising content for corporate companies. There are a lot of changes happening. One of the biggest changes is actually the fact that I decided to expand our small studio into like slightly larger studio. So as you can see now, my backgrounds are totally different compared to what I have in the past. I would have dedicated stations to do different things. In the past, we always rent a external studio whenever we actually require us to do like corporate photo shoots or corporate videos or whatsoever. And product photo shoot and food photography has also been one of the main projects that we have been working on during this current pandemic time. So I would have a dedicated food and product photography stations. And lastly, of course, I've been teaching a couple of webinars recently. This is something that I would want to do more, and of course with that I dedicated a spot that can also be used as a dedicated webinar stations. We all agree that 2020 have been a challenging year for many of us, and I can't believe that we're already at the end of 2020. I'm actually hoping that this video doesn't sound too tone deaf. I do understand that many of us are still having a lot of challenges. With this, I just want to give a bit of tips on how we actually managed to thrive during this particular pandemic time, even though we were actually being heavily affected financially in the beginning of the year. For the past few years, events has always been our bread and butter, and of course with the pandemic, a lot of events have actually been cancelled, especially the bigger events, which of course main resources of our revenues last year. We actually shot about 100 events related projects last year. At the beginning of the year, I actually received more than 30 cancellations of projects. It was a really scary period. I was actually telling my team members, I'm going to close down the company in 6 months' time, and probably it's a good time for you to find a new job. But of course, we managed to transform the business a little bit. At the month of August, it was actually the busiest period for us, and in fact, it was actually busier period as compared to December 2019, which is typically December is always been our busiest period. Here are a couple of tips that I would like to share in order for you to be able to pivot amidst the current challenging period. The first thing is, of course, keep learning new things. And of course, this actually applies to any period in your career and business, whereby you need to constantly change and learn new things in order for you to be able to survive and thrive. This kind of reminds me back when I was still a designer. When I decided to start a business, I wanted to do a 3D design kind of a company. However, I do realize it's not financially sustainable, and I was very lucky that my colleague back then, Iqbal, was actually kind enough to teach me a lot of things on photography and video productions, and end up we transformed the business into a photography and video productions company. With this current pandemic, we actually transformed the business model towards more webinars productions, live stream productions, and of course advertising productions. Secondly is to understand your core competency, what you actually do best, and how to apply it to another industry. So this is what I meant. If you have like certain skills and you are really good at it, but then your current industry is actually being affected by the current pandemic situations, you need to find another industry that can actually utilize that skill sets that you have, and then transform those skill sets to fit this new industry. Lastly, of course, to maintain relationship and support your existing clients as much as possible. At the beginning of the year, I've been actually contacting many of our clients and ask them how we can actually assist them amidst these current pandemic situations. When you're actually able to provide solutions, and of course, you will be able to thrive amidst the current situations. I hope in the future we can look back this current pandemic situation and see what we have learned and apply it to our career and our business, and actually benefit us in the long run. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I see you next time.